Welcome to Booze and the Rocks, where we make cocktails for everyone. My name is David Edwards, and it's great to have you here today. We're going to make a strawberry Long Island iced tea, and it pretty much follows the same basic pattern of a long iced tea, and that's a Long Island iced tea. Anyways, you get the point. It's going to have a lot of booze in it, it's going to taste great, and it's going to look pretty. Now, this is a simple shaken cocktail, so make sure you have a shaking vessel. The first ingredient we're going to start with is a little bit of lime juice. So give yourself a bit of a roll because my limes are kind of hard, but what that'll do is that will actually open up the membranes so they're really easy to actually squeeze out. And for this, we're going to use a total of half an ounce or 15 mils. Our second ingredient is going to be a homemade strawberry syrup. So what I've done is I've taken equal weights of 400 grams of strawberries, sugar, and water. Now what I've done is I've brought them to a boil, then allowed it to simmer for 3 to 4 minutes. Then you just let it cool and sit for a bit. And just make sure that when you're straining it, you don't actually squeeze the fruit, because that'll give you a cloudy syrup and you don't want that. But for this, we're going to use a total of 1 ounce or 30 milliliters. We next step into our spirits. Now in this case, before we start this, we're going to use an Orange Liqueur. I'm using a little bit of Cointreau. You could use some triple sec, but for the color purposes of this, you want something that's clear, and we'll use a half an ounce or 15 mils. Your next ingredient is going to be white rum, and I'm using lambs. You can use whatever you really want. This is actually a cocktail where you really don't want to use very expensive ingredients, and the reason I say that is your cost per drink, and not only like that, you're not going to get a lot of those nuances you might want from a drink with fewer ingredients. Use the same amount of half an ounce, 15 mils. Your second ingredient is going to be a gin. Now an interesting thing about this, because of the flavors that we're using here, don't use a gin that has a strong juniper flavor. You want something that's a little bit smoother, a little bit easier, and I've just picked up vodka. Anyways, just use a decent vodka and use the same amount of 1.5 ounces or 15 mils. Your next ingredient will be gin. In this case, I'm using Wildlife Gin because I've already talked about using a smoother gin. You don't need to be bored, but you're going to use the same amount of 1/2 ounce or 15 mils. And of course, like any good Long Island iced tea variation, you need to have a little bit of tequila. In this case, some Cazador's Silver Tequila. Again, I prefer Silver Tequila for this because you're just going to lose some of those notes in this cocktail, and go with the same amount of 1/2 ounce or 15 mils. Now moving to our next step, we have to actually shake this with some ice. Use a full glass of ice. That way you can get the proper chilling and dilution that you want. Again, do whatever you want. No, don't do what you want. Just shake it really good with ice, because I can't edit this part out because I've already put everything in there. But what you want to do, give it a flip, shake it with a smile. And you're going to shake this for anywhere from 8 to 10 seconds. You'll pop that off with the strength of 1,000 strawberries and put this off to the side. Now we are going to serve this in a highball glass. I'm using an 11 ounce or 330 milliliter glass, and we're going to fill this with fresh ice. Good catch. Everything is going exactly the way I want. Exactly the way I wanted to for this video, so you know what? Once again, never mind. Let me know if you like seeing all the errors in the videos. But what you want to do is you want to make sure that you fine strain this. Look at the color on this. Now that is gorgeous. Now one of the things you could do if you wanted to sweeten this up a little bit is you could add a little bit of a lemon lime soda just to thin this a bit and give yourselves a little bit more of that sweetness. But as it sits right now, absolutely fantastic. You get that strawberry, you get the booze, it's there, it's strong, it's present, but it's not overpowering. If you like Long Island iced tea variations, take a look after the recipe right up here.